Hey, it's Reverend Sean over the Center Path. And in light of watching some of the new stuff, there's a group of monks that are doing a walk for peace, and people are actually protesting it. So I'm wondering if they're protesting peace or the monks. It's very weird because the most peaceful people you're going to see unleashing massive peace on the world, and here they have people who are trying to stop them. It's very bizarre, but I have my own story of being protested against. So a long time ago in my other office, I had, as you can see right up here, there's a little plaque on the door that says meditation class. And then you can see there's the one further away is a picture of the the closer one actually is a picture of the altar that we had. So we had classes like 3 times a week. We had Monday morning or Sunday morning Dharma class with meditation. We had a Monday morning motivational meditation class, and then we had a Tuesday evening class, which I used to hold every week for many years until the pandemic actually. And one Saturday I happened to be at the office, and I heard the door open, and I was working on other patients and stuff because that's also what I do, the acupuncture and chiropractic and stuff. And I noticed there was a lady at the front door, and when I walked up to her, she stepped back from me, and I was like, "Oh, how can I help you?" And she asked me, she goes, "Do you do offerings to the goddess?" And I didn't know what she was talking about. I had no idea what she was saying, and I thought maybe she meant like Avalokiteshvara or Kuan Yin or something. Like maybe she was like thinking in that kind of realm, like that's she's kind of a goddess idea, or maybe one of the Taras. I don't know. And so I said, well, no, but I could probably help you with that, thinking maybe she wanted to do some chanting or maybe wanted to learn some stuff. And she goes, well, you know that Jesus died on the cross for our sins. And I was like, okay, yeah. I mean, this is kind of basic knowledge. I would think most people understand and know that. And she goes like, are you a Buddhist? And I was very excited because the whole thing over there was actually covered, because I keep it covered when there was no one around. And when it was covered, I don't think the tanka was up either. I can't remember. But at that time, it was covered, so nobody really knew. I kept it covered during other business hours just to keep it safe and so people wouldn't mess with it. And I was like, whoa, yeah, how did you know? And she goes, well, the Buddha was only a man. And I said, yeah, I know that too. And she goes, well, if I ever went to a chiropractor or whatever it was, they'd have to be Christian. And I said, okay, that's very good. I knew a guy down the road who was Christian, or probably still is. And I referred her down to him. And she said, well, what did she say? She said, you know what? She tried to say God bless you and stuff like that, which I was fine. Thank you very much for the sentiment. I liked that. Thanks a lot. I maybe educated her. She thought she educated me, but who doesn't know stuff she was saying? And they went outside and they did a prayer circle in front of my office, holding hands and doing their little prayer thing. But they were always out there every Saturday morning, and they would bring picket signs, and they would usually do a little prayer thing right in front of the office, but they would usually protest like a Planned Parenthood or something. We had like 4 or 5 doors down, but they would always try to park near us because I had an open parking lot. And after that encounter, they stopped parking next to me. But I've had that many times. So getting protested is not protested against, I guess. But when people don't understand what you're doing as a Buddhist, it's okay. They don't understand. It's natural ignorance. It's not ignorance in a bad way. Sometimes it's a bad way. Sometimes they're angry about it. Sometimes they can be aggressive. But we have to also think that they're trying to help us become better in some way, in the only way that they know, right? The only way that they know is to be saved in their way of being saved. And so we have to have compassion for those kind of people and let them go. I watched a video of the monks doing their march across the states for peace, and they did encounter a man who had a picket sign and was telling them that they were going to go to hell because they're demonic or something like that. And they had to have an exchange of, I love yous, which I thought was hilarious, because it's better just to not say anything, or just to give them the time to say that and thank them for standing in that for you. That's all it is. We're having compassion for them. Now, there's also what's called sympathetic joy, which means to be joyful for them, even though they don't know what they're doing. It's okay, But they're feeling like, hey, they're the saved ones, and they're going to be fine. Good. I'm happy for you. That's just not for me. That's the way it goes. Anyway, this is Reverend Sean over at the Center Path. Go right down there, and you can subscribe for more. And I'll give more stories like that later on. I have tons of those stories. I could tell you stories all day long about those things, from when I was living at the temple to working with the monks and having interactions in the interreligious councils and things like that I've done. And you know what? People are people. It's okay. Take a breath. If it bothers you, trying to let go. Remember, that's what we're supposed to do. Remember, the Buddha was being insulted by someone, and they said all these insults and said, you're terrible, all this kind of stuff. And the only response was, if someone brings a gift to your house and you do not receive it, who does it belong to? To who brought it? It's not yours. So let it go. Okay? This is Reverend Sean over Center Path. Talk to you later. See you later. Goodbye. Take care of yourselves.